Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendall and this is Ken's Corner and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. So today's video is actually me going through my reading tracker that I use. So before I say this, I do still very much keep like a physical representation of my reading in my journal, but what I use the most to track like everything in regards to my reading is my reading tracker. I'm very excited to share this. This is like years in the making. I'm not taking credit for like half of this stuff. While I did do all that's in here, I got inspiration from like the book roast. There's another one. I will put like the people who inspired mine just so that I can give them credit. I'm very excited for this though. I love my little tracker, I can't lie. The first thing you see is my dashboard basically. It's got all of my information. So you can see main information that I like to see. So my books read, pages read, any rereads, DNFs, and the books that I have bought. Then I have my goals here. You'll see this one is already marked out because I have these auto based on other points in this spreadsheet. If this books acquired goes above 60, this becomes unchecked, and I did not hit that goal. And then I have just your like my monthly reads, snapshots, my series, up to date, new to me, those kind of things, and then like where it's from. So Kindle Unlimited, library, owned, hauled, that kind of thing. Then I have like the more in-depth of this. So where is it sourced from? The audience for it. I mostly read adult, but sometimes like there is that new adult range, and then I also read some young adult. Then the types of reads. So I have physical, ebook, audio, and then the combination. And you'll see that some of these have input already. It's because to be able to show you how it works, I put some books in there. Then I have basically this is my monthly reads in a graph form because I love a good graph. You can see that all through there. And this is a snapshot of my like physical TBR and that goal. I have my goal to reach the percentage that I want based off of my owned TBR, and then how many I've read off of that, and then a little like bar graph. And then here, don't look too closely because yes, I have only read about 54% of the books that I own. I will say this 187 is less than I thought. This shows how many books I own and have not read versus the books that I've owned and read, and then like my total number of books that I own. And then obviously I have a genre tracker. This says publication, but it's publishers. I try to make sure that I have a bulk indie because I love supporting indie authors. Then I have my ratings tracker, and to the side of that I have like this populates, if I have a 5-star read, it immediately populates on this list. As you can see, one of the ones that I did was Bury Our Bones, and I made sure it marked as 5 stars so you could see that. That's the main overview of my tracker. Like that's where all of my stats show, but then where the stats come from, I use the escape method for rating my books. So as you can see, I have all of the information for the books here, so it's books read. This gray one is because if I DNF it, it changes, so then I can see at a glance what books I can find at a glance what books I've DNF'd. Start, finish, and amount of days read. That is literally so arbitrary. It doesn't matter, but I like to see it, so I have it in there. Pages read versus total pages of book. I like that because one, because I like to see how many pages I've read. Two, because I like to see this progress bar. And three, even if I DNF the book, the pages read goes into my total pages read for the year because I still read them pages, you know? And then here is my escape. I do enjoyment, which actually is a higher, like it holds more oomph to the overall rating. But then I have so I have enjoyment, start, characters, atmosphere, plot, ending. I do read a lot of romance, so for me, plot with a romance book is the romance. So I just rate the romance, you know? And then of course I have the genre and audience information, new release, new author, diverse, because I do try to diversify my reading. And then I have where from primary, so the primary method I read it. And then I have the where from secondary, because if I do immersively read it, or if I do like go back and forth between the physical read and my Kindle, that kind of thing. And then I have the actual format, publisher, and then series continuation, and if I'm up to date with that series. So obviously, yes, I know that if I have the finished series, it would automatically be up to date. But some of them I have read up to what's out, but it's not a finished series, so to keep up with that, I just mark the series up to date. and go from there. And then anything to note, so if I read anything diverse, I put that in here, or anything that I want to note about the read itself. Especially if I DNF it, I try to put a reason why. And then I have like my goals and challenges. So I do my TBR games, so I have a spot for those prompts. I do have a spot for my 26 and 26. I do have a space for a seasonal TBR because I do like to read seasonally. And then I do have, I love my A to Z challenges, so I have a spot for both title and author because extra challenge. These are not the series that I'm going to be focusing on. I haven't changed it over from 2025. Yes, I did terribly. No, I don't regret it. Will I be trying again? Yes. But that's what that is. And then I have my books read goal. I like to have a number to look at. If I don't read 100 books in a year, that is fine. That is fine. But if I do read 100 books in a year, I like to see it in a graph. Or it's not a graph, but in a table, if you will. In 2026, I'm going to do it all the same color, I think, because this year in 2025, I did it where they were all like, each month had its own color. And then I'm really going to try for some readathons. So I have a quick view of like, I will put the name of the readathon and if I completed it. But that's like my goals and challenges. And then probably the one I'm most proud of is my series tracker. I don't want it to seem like I'm saying I created this. I really hope I can find who I got this from. I want to say I did not fully come up with this tracker. I love it. And I love the way it looks and I love the way I use it, but I did not come up with it. I saw somebody else have it in theirs and I recreated it. I just want to preface that because with the series tracker and the escape method, I did not come up with those methods. I want to make it very point blank period clear, but this is one of my favorite things I have in this tracker. This is my series tracker. I have like my total number of series, the series that I'm up to date or complete in, the series I've DNF'd, because I will DNF a series almost as fast as I'll DNF a book. Series, like my up-to-date percentage, and then the number of series I'm in the middle of. That is a big number, and it does not include the series that I'm up-to-date in. Because even though I'm in the middle of those series, I have read everything that is out in those series. So those are actually considered in that 53 right there. That is series that I could fully continue, like right now. It's not good, but it is what it is. So the meat and potatoes of this tracker, though, is this. It's a lot of boxes because I used to track the manga series in here, but I stopped. So I could cut it down, but I don't want to because of this up here. So this up-to-date column, it populates automatically. So once books read equals books in series, that populates. So if I read this book, it's going to populate that I'm up to date with that series. And that does it for all of them. If I DNF a series, it takes it all to red. So that's literally just looking through. I'd be able to see any series that I DNF through the year. Series that are not completed, that still have books to be released, show in gray. And then series that are completed show in this bluish purple. And then on top of that, books that I've read in this series have the rating and are in green. Books that are out and to be read in this series show an orange space. So again, green is books read with a rating. Orange is books to be read that are out in the series. The purple blue are unreleased in the series. The series is still ongoing. It's just not out yet. And then the gray is marking a completed series. So all the books that are going to be out are out. And then the red is showing that I DNF'd the series. And it will show red from the book read on. And then of course I have the information here for the books read, books remaining. And then this is what decides the gray or blue purple. And if I've read more than one book in this series, I do choose a favorite just because, well, we all have favorites in series. And of course, average rating of the series. That's really it. I love this tracker so much. But again, I did not create it. It is not my original idea. Very much said, ooh, I like that. How can I make it? And so I made it. Lastly, I have my physically owned books, my physical library. I have it, obviously I have the titles, the author, read or unread, series that it's in, continuation, so basically standalone, start, continue, finish. Genre it's in, year purchased. The owned versus hauled is because in 2026 they will all say hauled for any book that I buy. So then I can keep it separate. And then I have a spot, like if I want to unhaul the book, I click it, so then I can easily just delete it out. Here's all my statistics, if you will. So total books unread, as I read them, that number will change. And then of course, total books, books read, books unread, and then the percentages of both. And then as I unhaul them, it gives me that number here. And then I have my own books. So obviously right now none are hauled because it's not 2026 yet. I definitely changed it a little bit to make it easier to read because I was confusing myself and I made it. So I made it a little easier to read. So I have the total books owned, or the total books hauled, and then the total books unread, or the total books unread and the total books read. And then I have a percentage for it. This percentage is showing the percentage read. I have my genres, and then I have my total number in those genres, total books unread in those genres, total books read in those genres, and then the percentage of books read in those genres. And then same thing again, I have like the years I bought these books. So I have the years I acquired them, total number of books acquired in those years, the total number unread, and the total number read. And then of course the percentage, because I love a good percentage for some reason. And hopefully in 2026 I can make it 100%. I highly doubt it because I think I will always buy more than I can read. That's really it. I do have a very blank readathon situation. I have a spot for all the information for the readathons, but there's nothing to really see in there because until I can fill them out, there's really not much. Yeah, so that's really it. I have a needy boy. I'm gonna see if I can get him. Hey! Y'all haven't seen him yet because he hates being held unless he wants to be in my lap. I have been thinking about putting it, like making it as either selling it on Etsy or making it as a free download. I don't know yet because I did put a lot of time and effort into this tracker. At the same time, I don't feel comfortable selling something that I didn't come up with completely. I might just make a download and put it in the description. We'll see. That is all I have for y'all today. So as always, have a wonderful morning, evening, or night whenever you're watching this. Have a great day on purpose, be kind to everyone, and happy reading.